Monsters, a Face for Radio episode explored. Today we are exploring another 80s anthology like Tales from the Darkside and Twilight Zone. This series is called Monsters, which was a series spanning across 3 seasons and 72 episodes. Monsters premiered in 1988. It was one of the many anthology shows that capitalised on a decade's anthology boom by presenting its own bizarre twist on the notion. Just like every episode from the shows Tales from the Darkside and Twilight Zone, Monster also had its own horror, science fiction or fantasy story. Every episode featured a monster of some sort. It followed only one rule: every episode had to have a monster. The episode follows the interaction between late-night talk show host Ray Bright and a beautiful woman who shows up at his studio claiming to have an alien from another planet with her. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us subscribing to our channel. This is a small clip for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Don't be a sucker for the babe! She's evil! She's the alien!
Human killing, well, if you insist. We start off the night in the atmosphere of a late-night hate talk radio show where Ray Bright takes digs at people who believe in the supernatural in his studio. The first person that we see is Cassandra Lefkowitz, a clairvoyant who can predict the future. Ray doesn't believe her claims to predict the future. He refutes his claim because she refused to give out the scores of a football game scheduled for the next day. She says that the reason for not predicting these kinds of immediate events is that it is a misuse of her talents. She cannot do anything for monetary gain, although ironically enough, she has a book out about her predictions which sells for $26. He goes on to belittle her when she cautions him that she had a vision of him. She sees him writhing in pain in a dark room, but he dismisses her warning. He tells her to leave, calling her entire act a hocus pocus cry for attention. The following day, the person who shows up for the interview is the lovely Amanda Smith-Jones. Now this lady is gorgeous. She is wearing a tight-fit short dress that is clearly making Ray slow down a little with his quick remarks. She starts off with an elaborate story of how she was on the beach in Saint-Tropez, which Ray immediately interrupts to ask what she was wearing. She was naked, she informs him. Clearly aggravates the sexual tension that Ray was already feeling. She then goes on to tell him that she felt a quivering sensation, and then the alien was suddenly on top of her. The next thing she knows, she was transcending beyond the universe across space and time. When she finally stopped travelling, it got very quiet.
And it got very, very quiet.
She found herself in a cylindrical room where 2 aliens held her hands and 2 were holding her feet. Then they took turns examining her and probed her, as she called it. Ray seems to be very interested in everything. She said that once the aliens were done with their examination, they told her that they are from a different planet where they had eliminated hatred, evil and hypocrisy. She tells him that the solution to this problem, the evil, was the creature in the box she had got with her. Ray, however, does not believe her. He tries to seduce her instead. He tells her that instead of telling this absurd story at 3:30 in the morning, they could go to the Ritz Hotel and check into the honeymoon suite. She doesn't respond to his advances though. She tells him that she is very hurt, leading him to concede and take a look inside the box. Inside the cage, Bright finds a hideous looking creature. It looks like a skinned monkey that is nothing but gunky flesh. It speaks out to him and tells him that she is evil and she did that to it. The creature begs for help. He is perplexed by the tiny creature and cuts to a commercial break. After the break, his producer asks to talk to him in private. She, it turns out, is dating Ray. He doesn't seem to realise that his actions are hurtful. She tells him that she feels embarrassed because he is trying to pick her up. He calls her the producer, which upsets her even more, understandably so. He tries to tell her that it's all just a show business inside the studio while actively hitting on Amanda. He gets back to the studio and starts off with a quick recap of the story so far. He finally starts insulting her like the other interviewees. He calls the alien a fake puppet and asks her if she went to ventriloquism school.
Say a word or two.
Save yourself, Ray. There's still time.
She gets somewhat offended and claims to be innocent, to which Raymond replies with a monologue about his influence. He tells her that people like her hate him because he has the power to change minds, and he doesn't need crystals or any kind of cosmic nonsense to prove it. He says that the people he destroys deserve what they get, and he has no regrets. Amanda agrees with him and says, "You're right, people should get what they deserve," which seems rather ominous at this point. She then goes on to say that she was drawn to this power of his, and she couldn't stay away from him. He asks her to prove it, which she does by making her kiss him. This little creature calls him a fool in the background, while Debbie considers that this was the last straw and she leaves. She tells him about the planet where they have eliminated evil and hypocrisy with the help of these creatures. They kill people in a humane manner. It's called humane death, as the ones who die always volunteer. Raymond decides to reply to this as well by being rather lewd about it. He tells her that they could be having sex at the Ritz right now, but she is telling her this story, which he doesn't believe at all. He asks her if he can ask the creature directly for the benefit of the audience. However, that isn't possible, as the creature doesn't have a mind of its own. It just absorbs the personality of its latest meal. He still believes her story to be fake, so he decides to take a chance. He tells her that he will let the creature eat him. If the creature eats him, then he is dead, and if not, they then spend the night at the Ritz. Amanda seems to have a conscience and tells him not to do it, but Ray, of course, only has the Ritz on his mind. He does not heed any warnings and tells her that he insists. He volunteers for it. Since he insists, Amanda gives him another ominous smile and grabs the creature. There is tension in the background that is rather noticeable and creates an atmosphere of discomfort and dread. The creature continues to call him a fool and its teeth sink into Ray. The next thing you know, we hear the same intro piece that Ray used for his talk show being spoken by another radio host, this time in Dallas. The host is Benjamin, asked to meet the creature. It rises up immediately, starts speaking in Raymond's voice. It tells Benjamin not to listen to her. It tells him that she is alien, she is the monster, she is the one who is killing humanely and tricking people into volunteering to die. This episode ends at that, leaving you reeling not just from the gruesomeness of the predicted plot, but also from the horrifying features of the creature. For an 80s anthology, Monster is rather nicely made. It has great sound and visual effect, especially for those times, that play into the story very well. The character's design is simply marvellous. The way the creature is created is horrifying and beautiful both at the same time. The entire episode focuses on men who don't seem to care about consciousness and find themselves in the wrong places, while an alien woman uses her advances as a way to advance towards her kill. It is a great way to find a fix for late night creature feature horror cravings. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.
You fool!